As you might know, I know nothing or nearly nothing about tone, amps, gear, all this kind of stuff. I know some things about shredding, about practicing, about biomechanics, about scales, harmony and theory, but tone is a bit of a blind spot here and there, to be honest. And I want to change that. I want to learn with you more about tone. And today we're going to start with experiencing one of the most hyped pedals of the last 10 years, the Precision Drive by Horizon Devices. Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? I'm 𝗗𝙤𝙦𝗚𝗏 back from my practice dojo and welcome to today's video. Yes, I'm kind of a gear noob, but you know, this has some sort of reason. I mean, this thing over there, oh wait a second. This thing here was kind of the first amp that I ever owned. I grew up with digital amps with 1 and 0s and not necessarily with real amps. So in those digital amps, I always had everything that I wanted. All the presets already sounded for me really good. And I never really had to chase some specific tone, or I was never really interested in chasing a specific tone. I was more kind of the chasing the skill guy, you know, rather practicing than chasing a tone. But there were situations definitely in my career I wish I would have more knowledge, wisdom and awareness about tone. You know, my realm of wisdom and knowledge is shredding, playing fast, technique, practicing, improvisation, harmony, all these kind of things. But again, not necessarily tone. But I'm currently really on a mission to change that, and I'm testing out a lot of things, and I'm starting to learn a lot of things and understand a lot of things. So I wanted to share this kind of experience and this kind of journey here with you, my community on my channel, so that we can learn together. And today we want to start with boost, especially with this specific kind of drive and boost. So we are going to learn why we are using this pedal, why this pedal is so special. Is it beginner friendly? And of course, the most important question, can it shred? I own this pedal since 2019, I would say. I mean, own is the wrong word, to be honest, because actually this pedal belongs to an old student of mine and he gave it to me to test it out, and we kind of forget that I have it. So Patrick, if you see this video, I still have your pedal, you know, just for you to know. But I never really tested it. I never really tried it out because I never really was a pedal guy. And I never really thought, why should I use pedals? And now holding this in my hand and trying it out in a bit, and already have tried it out a little bit, I have to say, wow, this feels good and it sounds good, and it kind of created a spark to get more of these little things and to find out more how they can help my sound. So when you have any piece of gear where you would say, okay, this was a game changer for my sound and my playing and my style, let me know, write it in the comments. I would love to hear some suggestions of what pieces of gear I should check out in the future to shape and to form my sound as well. Help me helping you. So without further ado, let's get into it. The Precision Drive pedal from Horizon Devices was released in 2018 together with the well-known pedal company MXR with the cooperation of 𝗵𝙗𝙗𝗔𝗜𝙎 from Periphery. And now I'm holding this in my hands 8 years later and seeing it's still worth the hype, but this is a modern pedal from a modern guitar player. So I rather should have a modern extended range guitar, shall we? Alright, here we go. Guitar change trick in 3, 2, 1. Whoop, whoop, ah. Say hello to the good old Quest. This guitar is not only extremely beautiful, it's also tuned in drop G, so we have 7 string, everything 1 whole tone step below, and then drop the low string to a G. So now, but one big question is, why do we have to put a pedal in front of the amp? Because I thought more gain you can get with the amp, and when you want to boost certain frequencies, why not doing it with the EQ? So I was kind of confused, and luckily when I'm confused, sometimes I have some really good ideas. Like, for example, just asking friends of mine who know this kind of stuff. I showed my good friend 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙚𝙦 a voicemail, and 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙚 is a huge nerd when it comes to sound and when it comes to effects, and he, again, enlightened my mind. The thing is, when we're using the EQ of the amp, we're changing and we are modulating the sound. after the gain station. When we put a pedal in front of the amp, we are doing a lot of EQ work in front before the gain, so that the gain does not have any effect on the EQ anymore. This is the reason why we don't need the drive or the gain of these kind of pedals when we are playing over a already distorted sound, but we are using this as a filter, as a specific filter to give the sound that unique tightness and that unique punch that these pedals had. I think one of the first, maybe could be wrong here, but one of the first that has been used common for this kind of effect was the Tube Screamer by Ibanez. Maybe we'll do a video about this one in the future as well, because it is Ibanez. But that's actually the main purpose where we have these pedals in front of the amp, so that we can shape the EQ and form the EQ before the gain has any sort of effect on it. And that was really interesting. So even though I nowadays own an amp, the Blackstar amp over here, I decided to make this demonstration here over a plugin, because I assume that 80% of all of you guys were probably plugin players. I'm a plugin player, and this sound-wise is easier to compare for all of us. And that's why I'm using the Newell DSP John Petrucci plugin, because I've heard that, especially with Mayther Boogie amps, boost in front of that can be quite beneficial for their sound and their tone. So let's check it out. Do you want a shred guitar like this? But it actually sounds more like this. Well, one of the biggest reasons why we won't make any progress on shredding the guitar is that we don't have a good practice routine, all the free content on YouTube is confusing us, and it's not really hard to know how to practice, but also what. And therefore, I created the gateway to shred. Especially when terms like inside picking, outside picking, or pick sanding is still pretty confusing for you. In this masterclass, I'm going to teach them step by step for you, for beginners and intermediate shred heroes. But it's not only about the right hand. The gateway to shred is a holistic masterclass where in 4 weeks I'm going to show you all the necessary basics that is required to have fast and fluid shredding. We're talking about practice routine in week number 1, and week number 2 it's all about left hand. I will show you some exercises about finger independency, finger precision, and finger speed. Third week is focused on the right hand, finally understanding pick standing, but also finally getting your picking up to tempo with control and precision. And in the last week it all comes together in one solo that I wrote for intermediate guitar players to test their playing if they are ready for the world of shred. And yes, believe me, you will be ready for the world of shred. I will also show you how to write your own solos, how to work on phrasing, vibrato, bending, timing, and we're also going to learn that mysterious technique called sweeping. The great thing is you only need your guitar, an amp, and 15 minutes every day. Check the link in the description box if you want to have more information. 4 weeks can change your playing forever, give your shredding the breakthrough it deserves, and get the gateway to shred. So here's the amp without the drive. And now with the precision drive. So now let's check out each individual knob. So the attack knob, when I dial it in to the right of it, I will have more high and harsh sound, while on the left on it, I have less low end. I personally like it more with a little bit of low end to it, but I will come back to that later again. So now as well, we have the volume button that I always have on the highest volume that was recommended in the beautiful world of the internet. And then we have the bright button that, yeah, again, takes away some of the brightness or pushes some of the brightness. So up here we have more low kind of boost. Here we have more like a high. boost. The drive, as I've already mentioned, we not necessarily need it because that pedal was not designed to give gain to it. Nevertheless, the guys from 𝙤𝙙𝙙𝙀𝙧 on their website, they recommended to play around with a clean sound and adding the drive to it, but I don't really like it because it creates some sort of fuzzy kind of vibe and fuzzy kind of sound. And from my naive experience so far, I like to have the gain coming more from the amp and not necessarily from the drive, and use only the drive as an EQ. So now going back to the attack, what I like is like the middle position or like nearly the highest position, but giving a little bit away from the brightness and then adding a slightly bit of drive to it. Whoop, and there the pedal falls down. And again without the drive. And with the drive. If you want to have more information about this pedal, then check out the link in the description box. This will lead you to my 𝙬𝙦𝙦𝙦 affiliate page. And this is also the easiest way to support this channel here, because from your next purchase I will get 5% of it. These kind of gestures can help channels like mine a lot. So thank you very much for clicking the link. Alright, I think as you can perfectly hear is that the drive is not only giving it gain or boost, but it also really cleans up the frequencies and makes the sound much more tight and precise. And even though that maybe sometimes I like the low end when I play with myself, that was a weird sentence, I can believe that in the mix this sounds extremely heavy and extremely great. Alright, but we still have to answer the biggest question of the day. Can it shred? Alright, let's change guitars again real quickly. 3, 2, 1, whoop. I'm now using a lead sound, so with more distortion and delay and reverb from the Petrucci plugin together with the precision drive, and I will now improvise over a backing track and will switch on and off the precision drive so that you can hear the difference. So I would overall give this pedal a good rating because it is beginner friendly. The knobs are quite easy and you can easily play around with them to see what kind of sound different kind of settings has. So it is definitely not a complex pedal. Now after the jam I know why it's called a pedal, because clicking on it while playing is not really possible. So you have to do it with your foot usually, not with your hand. But again, I would say this is beginner friendly. It is quite expensive. I think 220 euros it is. And now to answer you the big question, can this shred? This is shred approved. So much about this little gear review video. I hope you like this video. I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Feel free to subscribe to this channel, to follow, leave a like or leave a comment. I wish you a lot of fun learning, practicing and mastering the guitar. Cheers and power your progress.